Mr. Gondapur, where is your counsel?
I choose to represent myself in this matter, Your Honor.
Your Honor, Mr. Gandapur has ample resources with which to hire a whole team of lawyers experienced in defending clients charged with capital crimes.
Actually, Your Honor, my alleged co-conspirator and I wish to be tried together. We will be co-counselors, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we cannot have one defendant putting another on the stand.
Mr. Gondapur, are you and Mr. Jackson willing to be held responsible for your knowledge of court procedures, your ability to adequately cross-examine, and communicate your side of the story efficiently and effectively?
We are, Your Honor.
Then I see no problem with you representing yourself pro se. How do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Not guilty?
Well done, Mr. Jackson. The rest of you will see you at trial.
It doesn't take much imagination to see what's going to happen here. They'll each point the finger at each other and create enough reasonable doubt, and both of them will walk.
And acting as their own defense will give them total access to each other. Plenty of time to get their story straight.
Yeah, but Gandapur is a shark. He'll figure out how to put this all on Jackson somehow while he walks.
Then get Jackson to roll on him first.
Jackson's a sex offender on parole accused of murdering 8 women. What can we offer him other than life in prison?
A chance to tell his side of the story without Gandapur pulling the strings. Shoot for the moon. If that doesn't work, divide and conquer.
Shoot for the moon!
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth without omission?
I do.
Oh god, I need to read this again. Relationship trophies, other crime scenes, victim's body, relationship...
What makes you think Patty Jackson and David Gandapur are co-conspirators in the deaths of these women?
Aside from the physical evidence, I believe Jackson worked for Gandapur.
How so?
I believe they form what's called a dominant-submissive pairing. You sometimes find with serial killers who work together. As partners, they were able to fulfill each other's appetites. Jackson for sexual violence, Gandapur for murder.
Objection, Your Honor.
Should you stop Logan from theorizing? I believe they form a dominant submissive pairing. You can sometimes find them with serial killers who work together. As partners, they were able to fulfill each other's appetites. Jackson for sexual violence, Gandapur for murder. Should you stop Logan from theorizing? No. Yay! What? Logan knows the true identity of the mangler. Let him say it. Logan has lots of experience. Let him talk. Anyway, Logan has physical evidence to back it up. Rephrase the question. Logan is a handsome cop. The women on the jury will agree with whatever he says. I love the options in this game.
I'll rephrase. Based on the physical evidence, how, in your professional opinion, did Mr. Gandapur and Mr. Jackson work together to commit these murders?
Judging from the physical evidence found on the victims, and in Mr. Jackson's work vehicle, and in Mr. Gandapur's garden shed, Mr. Jackson would visit a place frequented by prostitutes, where he would pick one up, get them high on crystal meth, bind them, take them to Mr. Gandapur's shed, where they were sexually assaulted, and then murdered.
Frames are just going up and down right now. Trophies.
What caused you to think of Mr. Jackson when you became involved in the hunt for the Massapequa Mangler?
When I found out a lock of Wendy Crane's hair was missing.
Is this relevant? Yes. How taking hair was Patty Jackson's MO. The Mangler's last name was Jackson. Taking souvenirs was usually for Patty Jackson. Logan simply guessed. I read the usual. I read unusual.
Why was
usual,
that
so that's why I was
significant?
confused.
Patty had the same MO with the women he raped.
Objection! I am not a pervert.
Mr. Jackson is a convicted rapist. The locks of hair he took from those women were trophies, souvenirs, if you will.
Overruled.
Other crime
Is
scenes.
there any evidence to suggest that either defendant was at Hunt's Point around the time the other victims disappeared?
No, there are a lot of prostitutes there, a lot of Johns, a lot of drugs. It's hard to find witnesses.
You found a red herring. In court, I found a red herring.
Most of the Mangler's victims were found in shallow graves around Nassau County, but Wendy Crane was found in Harlem, in plain sight. Can you explain?
Patty didn't follow the plan. You see, Wendy had defensive wounds on her hands and on her arms. Something went wrong in the van. Patty panicked and he strangled her, then got spooked and tried to dump the body right there.
Sorry about the frame. Is Detective Logan mistaken about the body? Nope. 5 out of 4 stars, baby! What is one other important detail? The whatever found in Patty's pocket, the missing finger, what? The lock of hair taken from Wendy, the burlap fibers in Gandapor's hair. In Gandapor's hair? Why would they be in Gandapor's hair? They were in Wendy's hair, not Gandapor's. The lock of hair taken from Wendy, found in. I'm going with this one.
But not so spooked he couldn't stop and take a lock of her hair.
Correct. He had a knife, and I believe those trophies to be extremely important to him.
Objection! Innocent until proven guilty.
Overruled. Innocent until proven guilty is a civil right, Mr. Jackson, not a basis for objection.
We appreciate your time, Detective Logan.
For this testimony, the jury sided with the prosecution. You won by 50 points. Overall, the jury likes your case a little bit. Okay, I'm back because I thought that I was running out of room on my computer to record, and then I found out I still have quite a bit of space left, so that hopefully I can finish this episode, unless it was like 2 hours long like the first one. So I don't know why the frames are a bit slow. I guess they just kind of are, so sorry about that.
Mr. Logan.
Detective.
Need to brush up on your legal objections? Yes, I do, because I'm pretty bad at them and it's been a few days. Argumentative. Defense is arguing with witness or asking questions for effect alone. You expect us to believe this? Okay. Asked and answered when the same question is posed twice. Hearsay, relying on testimony of someone other than the witness, and badgering, insulting the witness directly.
I bet you got a nice fat promotion when I got pinched, didn't you?
That's not the way it works.
You put the blame on me because you couldn't solve your case and you thought you were going to get fired.
No.
Yeah, I want to
Objection?
object.
Argumentative.
Overruled.
You're
Ah,
trying to
son of a-
ruin my life to protect a bunch of whores.
Yes?
Objection, Your Honor. Badgering.
Mr. Jackson, I'm way past regretting the decision to allow you to defend yourself.
If I may, Your Honor, I would like to continue the cross-examination.
Keep it on point, Mr. Gondapur.
The judge is so pissed off.
I am most curious, Detective Logan. How did you form your opinion on how my landscaper and I collaborated in the murders of these women?
I've been a detective for over 25 years, mostly in homicide.
Are you a psychologist?
No.
Criminal profiler? Any professional training on the psychology of serial killers?
No.
Well, your opinion can hardly be valid, can it?
Yes?
Objection, Your Honor.
Argumentative, not badgering. Hearsay, no. Asked and answered.
Argumentative.
Sustained. Enough, Mr. Gondapur.
Yay!
What physical evidence did you find to suggest that either myself or my co-defendant are...
Burlap
I'm sorry, I
fibers
pressed
found
the
in Wendy
button.
Crane's hair matched that found in Patty Jackson's van and in your garden shed. Probably most telling was a cutting tool we found in the same shed with Wendy Crane's blood on it. There was also duct tape and zip ties found in the van and the shed that were an exact match for ones found on other victims.
Anything in my home?
Not that I'm aware.
So you found evidence in Mr. Jackson's van. Evidence in my garden shed which Mr. Jackson had access to.
That's right.
None of my DNA nor hair samples, nor fingerprints found on any of the victims.
You're too
No,
smart for
you were
that.
very careful in that regard.
Just one more question, Detective Logan. As a hedge fund manager, I made $25 million last year alone in salary and bonuses.
What does that have to do
That's
with
nice.
anything?
Do I sound like the type of person who does his own gardening?
Would you like to object? Yes.
Objection, Your Honor.
Asked and answered, argumentative, hearsay, badgering, not either of those from argumentative, asked and answered, argumentative?
Argumentative.
Sustained.
I object to.
What is this, some kind of Marx Brothers routine? Get your ducks in a row, gentlemen, or I'll start holding you in contempt.
Sit down, you imbecile. No further
Pretty sure that's
questions,
proving
Your
it
Honor.
right there. Pretty sure him taking the role from, what's his name, Jackson, just kind of proves their relationship. For this testimony, the jury sides with the prosecution. You won by 10. Jury overall is leaning towards your case. I feel good. I'm so horrible
Gentlemen,
at being an
what do we owe the
attorney.
pleasure?
We've come to make you an offer, Mr. Cutter. One I think you'll find quite generous given the circumstances. What if Mr. Jackson were prepared to admit to being the Massapequa Mangler?
Just Mr. Jackson?
Manslaughter 2 for my co-defendant. 10 years, eligible for parole in 5.
And you walk away with what? A ticket for littering?
Aiding and abetting. 5 years in a minimum security prison where I am allowed to continue to manage investment funds for clients.
Is this a joke?
Make plea. Life in minimum security. Me. Murder 225. No deal. Life in minimum security. I'm thinking. Not murder 2. I don't think they'll take that one. Not no deal. I don't think they'd go for life. I'm thinking life in minimum security might do it. Plus, I'm not sure like who I'm offering this to.
You confess to the murders, and we'll ensure that you and your co-defendant serve out a life sentence in a medium security facility instead of death row.
15 years, eligible for parole after 10. I don't have to remind you there's an election near. A sentence like this can be justified, but allowing us to beat the charges and go free, well...
What was his offer? 15 years, eligible for parole after 10. I don't have to remind you that this is an election year. A sentence like this can be justified, but allowing us to beat the charges and go free, well... 15 years for killing how many prostitutes? No. I'm saying no.
No deal, Mr. Gandapour. Take my advice and spend some of that money of yours on a lawyer. See you in court.